and on the outside. Now the thing is, was that ball on this side or on that side of the imaginary line of touch? Does it make sense? You can ask. I mean, it's I think that's why touch judges sometimes get it so wrong, because they must now see, is the guy inside, outside? He's outside. Okay, was the ball over the line? It's a very tough thing to do for the touch judge. What did you want to ask?
Putting the same scenario of you being out and the ball in.
Yep.
To the previous one where you said at the try line.
Yeah.
If I'm out and the ball is in and I tap it in,
Yeah.
of course you'll be out.
Yeah.
No, you're ideally out, so you can't play the hole.
Yeah.
So when you stretch your hand in and tap the hole, that's an offense.
No.
You seem to be illegally, I think, benefiting
from a law.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, when is the ball out? Again, sorry I'm boring you with stuff which is not, I don't have to talk about this, but when is the ball out? Say there's a touchline. There's 3 ways a ball can be out. That's if a ball goes like that, a ball is not out when it's crossed the line. A ball is out when a player has scored it on the outside, or it's touched the pavilion, or a spectator, then the ball is out. So that's why a ball that curves and the wind blows him back, the ball is not out. I'll get to your point now. Strangely enough, when a ball gets kicked over the poles and the wind blows him back, is that point? It's point. Yeah, that's where it's different from, say you kick a drop goal, the ball goes over the crossbar and the wind blows it back. That's 3 points for you, or if it was what do you call it, it's 2 or 3 points for you. No, 3 points, not from a conversion. If the ball then blows it back, it's not over. But from a penalty, it's 3 points for you. What you said now is, so the moment you handle the ball here, you take control over the ball, and you're on the outside, then the ball is out. That's why when the ball is in the in-goal area, and you score a try like that, it's a try. But if you do that, the ball is out. So you can only handle it, but you can't physically take the ball for you. That's why I can't run with the ball like that. I can only handle it. I can only tap it. The moment I take possession of the ball is out. So guys, it's just an interesting thing that I think you must go and maybe study. That's why with this new law of the guys actually practice it now for the World Cup. One of the strategies, the Springboks used to play a hell of a kicking game. And I think we're still going to do that at World Cup. But now, what the New Zealanders now practice, and they do it really well, they don't go for distance. We go for distance and we kick the ball. Martinez. They kick the ball only just out. So Mornay Steyn, whoever is the 10, is in his 22, and he kicks the ball always that it lands a meter out. So he always kicks it on the halfway line. So what the New Zealanders started doing, they started practicing this all the time, through the air, landing there. So they actually said, you kick the ball to the ball 1.5 meters out. We'll jump, we'll catch it on the outside, we'll catch it in. If you want to kick it into the stands, you lose 10 or 20 meters on your angle, and we'll have a line out closer to your try line. So those small little things does make a difference. Thanks, Martinez. Sorry, that was somewhat just for interesting sake. Now the breakdown. I want to show you how we measure breakdowns and how we use it technically, and not how we coach it. I've got a few video clips here, and every year when we do this, guys, there's a few guys who wants to get some of those. So my summer last night went and I burned the CD of all our drills. So if you, not all our drills, but interesting drills there. So if you want to get it, just make a copy there from Steph if you feel it can help you. I think the most, Martinez, jy gaan weer moet kom help. Martinez, jy moet lees en goeie. Ja.
I'm just not, don't ask me to recoil or anything like that.
No, don't worry. I think the most important thing, guys, when is the ball out in the breakdown? And this is the thing, Stefan, I said was a less. Sorry, pal. I think the big thing that changed in the breakdown, there was a few ways we all coached the breakdown last year still when the laws was even at the breakdown. But the laws now, and I think the 7 guys might experience it differently. Currently, the law is beneficial to the attacking team. The defensive team, unfortunately, if you don't get your hand on that ball quickly with nobody on an isolated tackle, you seldom get the ball. So previous years, what we used to do is, and me and Tiff are not the most well-built guys, so forget our body positions and stuff, I'm just trying to explain. We used to build scenarios at the breakdown. And last year we said, if I'm a first arriving player at the breakdown, we'll get to what the ball carrier must do. He must recoil and all of that. That's not important now. But the first guy always used to get there, see if there's threats there or not. Is there a guy going to clean the ball or not? But even if there's a threat, we got a guy, Martinez, kom staan jou gou voor. We would have done this. We would have ducked like that over the ball. Everybody in South Africa did that. Nobody actually cleaned past the ball because there was a contest at the breakdown. We thought, okay, let's get the contest away. So what we did is, if
The
you...
last time the two of us did this, Rassie, we ended on top of one another and I looked like a tortoise.
Okay, keep that video on. We might put it on YouTube. We'll put it on YouTube afterwards. So the way we secured the ball previously was to make sure that this is a ruck. So you get in there, you get in there, now you first here, and you secure this ball. Now he comes, now he wants to clean out. The moment this happens, we've got a ruck. So he can't steal that ball anymore. So we didn't clean past the ball. We just made sure that this is a ruck. So we called it ducking. We ducked over the ball and we practiced ducking over and over and over again. So Jacques would be away and we would practice. He would be coming for me and I would be bracing here. Now a ruck's formed. So we just wanted a ruck in the pass so that the referee could see that guy can't have his hands in anymore. But now the law's changed. That guy isn't that big a threat anymore. Now we started blasting past the breakdown. And if I can picture a few scenarios in the game, we teach our players basically, listen guys, there's 3 angles we want you to support the ball carrier. We'll get to the role of a ball carrier now. The one is straight from behind, the other one is this 45, and the other one is that 45. So if you're running a support line and you're straight behind the ball, and there's a, whatever team you're coaching, I'm with the Stormers. If there's a Stormers jersey in front of you that you can see, not your number 9, anybody else in front of you of this angle, then you don't go to that breakdown. You leave that breakdown. You go and become a next phase runner. If you're on this angle here, and there's a Stormers jersey in front of you, you don't go to that breakdown. And the same on that 45 on that side. So, but even if you're 50 meters away, and you, exaggerating, 15 meters away, and you see there's nobody between you and the ball carrier, you go to that breakdown. As you run to the breakdown and suddenly a Stormers jersey goes and cleans there, you leave that breakdown. We want to win the numbers game. We want to only have a ball carrier there, and hopefully those 3 cleaners, sometimes 2 cleaners, can sort out that breakdown for you. But the principle is, we come in a V on the 3 angles, and you don't go to the breakdown if there's already a Stormers jersey in front of you. We win the numbers game and you go and recycle in the back line there. Stop me if there's anything that doesn't make sense. Now, if 15 players have that mindset of the breakdown, then the different scenarios plays off. The first one is, I get to the breakdown, the ball is available, no threat. Shit, guys, we play rugby. If the ball is there, Steph and me and our team, the first scenario, flip. And he flips to me, and I play rugby. Why would we slow the ball down? That's the easy one. The second one is, he plays the ball on the ground. There's no threat yet. I pick up the ball, like when you were a lighty playing at school or in the backyard. You pick up the ball, man, and you either play the scrum off, or you play the fly off, or you pick and go. We keep momentum. We keep the natural flow of the game. Now, when do we make it that bugger up which the referee struggle to referee? The moment that threat becomes closer there. And there's about 3 different scenarios. The first one is we arrive the same time. So me and him come in here, and we're the same time. He can't flip to me. That guy's there. My other boys are coming, but we're the same time. What we would have done in the past, he would have come, and I would have just made sure this is the rock. Now we're not doing that. I think this is where you guys will have a little bit variable on this. You won't be maybe exactly the same. We get in here, we go down there, and we clean this guy away, and we expose that ball, and we make sure that that ball is available. Because we say, now the next 3 guys go through the same process. The next guy, if it's not the 9, who comes here, would see, okay, he's cleaned away. Again, is there a threat? Is there not a threat? Pick up the ball, play rugby. If there's a threat, then I clean him away again. That's so the way we practice that technique, if it say it's in a, if I can get it, it's in a week where you don't have, you don't want injuries. Like, you can't always do it full contact all the time. You have to simulate it with bumping backs and tackle backs and stuff. So we would do, for instance, this in the beginning of the season, over and over again. I'll just show you this. I hope it plays. That's the action we say we want you to. This is the beginning of the season, so this guy's not awesome at it. You should be able to do about 40, 50 of those in a training session without any trouble, because the tackle bag is not fighting back. You know, it's not a person you're cleaning. But if you look at it, you can see you have to have the right body position. That thing is pretty low, so you have to clean well. Those clips is for you on that thing I gave you, and if I can just get it, I'll show you now. Give me a second. And this specific one on that DVD, you can listen to the sound, not now, but on this one we just explain how you start from the beginning, and there's some sound with it, and why you shouldn't dive in, and what is the purpose of the thing, and how do you get the guy. It's not like made in a movie, it's some of us just doing this little thing there. But I think if you listen to that, you'll understand what the principles of cleaning is and what the technique is. So you're welcome on that DVD to follow that and to maybe use that. Then and also what we do, if I can maybe show you here, also in pre-season what we do a lot is I'll try and make it bigger, we put the guys a lot, the moment they can do that, we call it T-back. That T-back action, and I think this is where the conditioners can come in. The moment, boys, they can do this without a hassle. Someone has a warm-up drill, sometimes put elastics on them, do it with elastics, do a line-out session, and as they run from the line-out session, quickly do us 10 T-backs. The moment that action of not diving in, getting low there, flipping the guy, falling with him on the other side. The moment the T-back becomes a natural thing, I think, and the guy's not afraid, because you see the guys sometimes hitting these things, but the moment there's a head and shoulders and a gum guard, then they actually don't do that thing, because this thing doesn't headbutt you back. But if the moment there's a player, some guys are awesome T-backers, but they're shit cleaners, because they're a bit bang, they're afraid, they're not as tough. Any questions on that? Okay? Thanks. Kan hulle nie sien aan nie.
Nee, ek dink dis net picture al.
You like your gadgets, huh? Okay. Okay, no problem. Then show you now. Then, guys, there's a lot of different. Now the old. This is obviously. I'll get to the second scenario now. This is obviously when and you'll see on that and on those video clips as well. Obviously, when you're doing that attacking breakdown, I'm talking now when we're in the opposition half. That's the way we clean now. But sometimes when you're in your own half, you just want a solid base to kick from. You just want to do maybe get out of our half. So that breakdown, we don't want that so dynamic. So what we then do is we make it a static one, and we go in there and we just duck and we practice how to absorb the different pressures just to give our 9 a nice and solid base. So this guy on that side is not going to blast past, T-back past the thing. He's just going to give us a nice solid base to kick from. And I think we've got different calls for that. The moment we're on attack, we call it stormers. Quick breakdown, clean past the thing. The moment we're in our half, we call it breaks. So that means we're in a kicking mode. We just want to kick the ball from that specific thing. And that's how you'll see on that DVD, there's a lot of drills where we just practice that action there. That guy obviously did it shit there. So that's why we released him also out of his contract. Just, Stef, kan ons gou weer verduidelik die tweede scenario. I'll show you now how we measure this, guys. It's the next one is, ons kom ons sonder die ligte doen, nee. Leg hom. Ja.
Can you see, guys, or do you want the lights on? Sure.
Okay, leg hom. Okay, weer daar, Jaka. So the first one was same arrival. Now the second one is I arrive early, but there's still a threat. The ball is there. There's not for me. First scenario is pick up the ball, play, pick up the ball, run. The second scenario is same arrival. The third scenario is the ball is there, but the threat is close, but I can't play 9 or 10. So we call it our check zone there. All we do is we get into this position here, but now when he comes, when the threat eventually comes, we don't absorb his pressure here. We call it turbo. Gaan weg. Sorry. So I sit here, I wait till he's coming. The moment he's coming, I'm still making it a dynamic thing. And guys, why do we make that a dynamic thing? Stef, as jy so kan lê, dit breek dan hy kant toe is. So, ons so speel. Okay. When is this ball out, guys? And this is why when I started with the laws, no, I think it's a pity the referees are not here. When is this ball out of this rock? If say I'm standing here, sit gou die bal agter. Is that ball out now? Why is it not out? Okay, is that ball out now? Okay, and that's 100% right for you. And I think the sevens guys are exceptional at this. We say Jacques is a defensive player. Jacques, and he's on the fringe there. Staan goed daarso? He's the pillar defender there. Now he's on sides there. He's on sides.
Can I stand on this side?
Yeah, stand on that side. Can I use you just to explain to them something?
Come, Ken. Which way?
Ja, ek wil gou vir hulle wys waar is die offside line. Jy's reg so Steffa. So that guy's, now this guy's, you trying to steal the ball. Jacques staan laaste voete. He's last feet now. Now the moment I clean here and we move this thing back and we're there, can he go for that ball? Yes. He can only go for that ball until he's went to the last feet of this guy. So this is why we want this a dynamic thing. Come again closer. Staan laaste voet daarso. Come a bit closer. Staan amper offside, yeah. So the moment we do this, then the ball is static. But the moment we clean that, give a step back. Now Jacques must first go to that last feet. There. Because the ball isn't out yet. And now if you clean, and he steals it from there, then it's offside. So the moment you make it a dynamic breakdown, that pillar defenders always have to go 1.5 meters. So they never have the, if I can call it the ascendancy or the positive way to get the defense off the line. You want the defense to do this always, just 0.5 meter, just 0.5 meter. And in the old days when we used to duck over the ball, the defense just used to push up all the time. Interesting, kom gou. Thanks, Pat. It's all right. Kom gou, Jacques. Guys, the old rule that everybody thinks the ball is out when a bird can shit on it. That's not true anymore. The ball is out the moment the line you drag, if I can pull it this way. So say I'm here with the ball here, Jacques, you on that side. So one foot. The moment this line that connects this foot and that foot crosses the ball is in. It's not, I mean, this, like that, gaan 'n bietjie vorentoe, Jacques, that ball is also still in. If you understand what I'm saying. It's not always, if it's behind my last feet, and even if we're not bound together, we're in the same rock. The moment they draw that line, and that line from my last body part to his last body part crosses the ball, then the ball is still in. Everybody with us on that? That's why it's important, guys, to blast past the ball, not to go and stop on the ball, and not when you're in a kicking play in your own half. There we duck. We duck over the ball. Questions? Thanks, Stefan. Okay, guys, now, did somebody talk to you about analysis and what programs you guys use? And I know some guys don't have programs at all, and some guys are with a video machine and still cutting the games on their own and doing their own stats. Did anybody show them?
They worked a little bit on fair play.
Yeah, okay.
So I know what you can pull out. So.
Okay. So, guys, what is the big trick about analysis? And I'm not going to talk about the whole analysis of the game. Let's say, for instance, that's our philosophy on the breakdown. I'll also put on that thing for you this. It's not mind-boggling, but what I actually said now, this explains what we want the ball carrier to do, who's the guys must clean, what are their different roles and those kind of things. So that's also a little presentation on that DVD if you want to use it in future. No problem with that. But the other thing, obviously, let me first show you this. South Africa played Australia last week and they got smashed. So now you do a technical analysis on that game. We've got a simple system, guys, which worked really well. And I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing, but maybe just give you a broad picture of how we do things. If you say, if I can just get it. Okay. So first of all, we do a total green report in that specific game. The different department coaches. There's a defense coach and a kicking coach and a scrum coach and all of those guys. And obviously there's the head coach. So he wants to know after that specific game, why did we lose this game? Or why did we win that game? Or forget the result, how were we in the different departments? That's the most important thing. So we'll get together on a Sunday, and I would sit there, say with Peter de Villiers, or whoever the coach is. And first of all, we'll go in there, we'll put in the score. And we'll say, okay, obviously we lost, that's not great. The second thing, the conditioner will come in and we say, and it's a bit of a, what is objective in English? It's a bit of a subjective thing, many of these things. You can't say, on certain things, the conditioner just gives his gut feel of what happened on that specific game. So, I mean, the three basic things for us as coaches, we would ask, listen, did these guys overpower us? And, you know, we would feel, yes, they did. Were these guys more running fit than us? Were they could it feel like these guys were just running us off our feet? Like the Cheetahs is one of our teams, South Africa, who's really running fit, but they're not that strong. No, they didn't. Then, were they more agile? You know, were these guys really nippy and, you know, the handoff and hit and spin and the SAQ, was it better than us? And we'll do a thing on that, and then the guys would know eventually, okay, conditioning-wise, we didn't think that's what lost us the game. But we'll see the thing that is in red for us that we think we have to improve. Like, conditioning, we feel our running fitness is not up to scratch in that specific game. So the conditioner with the coach, hey boy, we're in week 3 of this competition, there's another 11 weeks to go. When we reach semi-finals, I don't want that running fitness box red. I want it green. Okay, so we'll build something on that. Then the defensive coach will come in. First of all, we will say, guys, how was our attitude on defense? Great, our attitude was great. Our system, did we contest well in the line out? Where's our 9 in the right position? Well, how was our defensive system? Okay, now our defensive system was great. Then our tackle technique, if our system was right, did the guys use the right technique? Did we tackle them back? Did we make leg tackles when we make leg tackles? Did we tackle on the ball? Yes, no, we're not happy. And then on the defensive breakdown, did we overcommit? You know, and also analyze the breakdown. Then at the end of the day, you say, okay, now we're happy with the breakdown. Again, overall defensively, now we didn't do too bad, but we have to work on tackle technique. So that will be part of the planning for the next week on that. Obviously, this was not the case against Australia. It was all red when we lost to them last week. Then we do the same with kicking. There's a few things there. We do the same with set piece, scrums, lineouts, kickoffs. We see if we're happy there. We do the same with starter moves from scrum, lineouts, and free kicks. Then this is the one which we're talking about today. Then we're talking ball retention, this one here. So first of all, we say, how was the attitude? Our plan in this weekend, when we talk about breakdown, was it to actually just run through these guys? Or was our plan to step these guys and offload and build the phases, or were we going to be really direct? So we say, did the guys go in with the right attitude when they were ball carriers and at the breakdown? So we say, yes, we understand they did. Then the ball carrier. Did the ball carrier recoil? Did he, when he dominated contact, protect the ball? So we'll go through that little thing there, and the thing would be yes or no. And then we'll look at the cleaners. Was the cleaning good or bad? No, it was great. And was our 9 or the guy who played scrum off at the right position? So at the end of the day, you take all of these things, which actually summarize the game. You'll see there's phase play, there's turnovers, there's discipline, there's a plan, and you'll get a score out of 12 there. Now, so we're saying we're striving to get this green report green. If we get it green and we lose, we lost against a better team. If you get everything right and we clean well, we passed right, we were fit to everything, but they beat us, maybe you played the world champs. You know, maybe you have to accept that. And maybe then on Sunday or Monday, you don't have to smash these guys and tell them how bad they are. And this little report helps you to be non-emotional, if I can put it that way. And I think that's the biggest challenge for our coaches, to say, guys, let's win or lose, go through our process, and see if we follow our processes. Now, I quickly ran through this thing, but I'm just going to show you one department. Say, for instance, we talked about, I'm not going to show you all of that. We talk about ball retention, that one there, all of those things there, attitude, ball carrier, cleaners, distributors. That breakdown coach, who's the forward coach also of the Springboks, say Gary Galt, he can't just say, hey, I'm happy, yeah, no, the attitude was great, now we cleaned well. Because it's easy, he can go to this stat in fair play. And now, he can go to that stat there. I mean, but that's not a coach, man. A guy who goes there and say, hey, you made, I'll just make it smaller. I mean, boys, are you a coach when you go to a play and you say, Donnie Rousseau, you made 15 times you were first at the breakdown, 5 times you were second, 6 third, once last, you made 16 tackles. Is that coaching? You get the bloody stat, you give it to the guy. That's not coaching. I mean, and I think that's where we're all getting it wrong. We all want to do stats. So many missed tackles, so many passes, so many meters gained, so many cleans. But that's not coaching. You want to coach a guy. He wants to know, how many should I have made? How was each individual one? Do you want me to improve? Is it my technique? Is it my decision making at the breakdown? And the same in the different departments. Kicking game, mauling, scrumming. Don't give them the results and give it to them. Give them solutions. Give them specific things in the breakdown you must get right. Let's take an example. Let's take Donnie Rousseau in this specific game. It's him that, eh? So they die. I can't see the Rousseau eye. Yeah. Let's take him. I think he made 16. And this is, I think, where the trick comes in. Obviously, guys, if you want to be a coach at this level, you say, let's take Donnie Rousseau. At 8, Rassie was there first. Sorry. Let's give it time. Okay, at 8, Rassie was there first. So Donnie Rousseau should be now first at this rack. So there's the ball carrier. The next one now. There's the next cleaner in there. So was he good there? You don't give a guy stats and say, yes, you made 17 cleans. That's not part of the thing. And this is where I think we're starting to, as coaches, hit the button right with this. So you go into the guy in detail into that. You say, okay, let's go to Donnie Rousseau. And we say, okay, Donnie, can you read there? You made, is that one there? You made 11, sorry, that's, get him now. Sorry. Sorry guys, I'll get it now. Okay, there's Donnie Rousseau. You made 16 cleans. Okay? Out of those 16 cleans, 4 of them was a bad decision to go and clean. So we said you had 16 cleans, but 4 you shouldn't have gone and cleaned. 4, the ball was already won. We could have had another number. Recycling in the back line, becoming an option for 10 or for 9. And the moment you don't go to that back line, to that breakdown then the attacking coach does. Where did you line up? What was your option taking? But I'm telling you now, out of those 16 breakdowns you were at, 4 of them, 25%, you shouldn't have gone to that breakdown. So that's bad. The moment you'll see these colors change as we put in the different numbers there. So the moment you get that thing to 0, then the thing will go to green, or get it to 1. The thing will go to green. But you don't want that guy on bloody 25% of his decision making. That's bad decision making. So with that guy, you practice decision making over and over. You put out a drill, you put him there, and you see, okay, Donnie, let the guy go in. No, I shouldn't join. I'll recycle. Yeah, I should join. You get the decision making of that guy to the breakdown. You get that right. The next thing is, you say, okay, but only 2 times you had aggression. Out of those 16 you cleaned, 4 you shouldn't have cleaned, and then only 2 you were aggressive. So yes, boys, that's terrible. You get a guy, at the end of the day, you show him a stat, 16 breakdown cleans, but only 2 did he have really aggression or attitude when he cleaned out there. So this poor guy at Springbok level, who won a World Cup previous before, makes wrong decision, and then when he goes, he doesn't have great attitude. So now you give him to the conditioner and you say, get this guy aggressive, get this guy's technique right. Now the next one is exactly the technique. And 11 of them were bad technique. Understand what I'm saying? So he either just fell on the guy, or he tried to flop them. He didn't tee back, like we said there. Get in there, hit the guy on his neck, drive him over, put him on the other side. So if you look at the stat, this guy is actually fantastic. But you look at the integral parts of the breakdown, this guy is actually bad. If you understand what I'm saying. You just give a guy stats, boys, he'll never rate you as a coach. You just give him a lot of stats. He knows when he cleaned well or he didn't clean well. So then, obviously, we also do this, if it's a bad technique, and also we do this. When you were cleaning, did we lose a turnover or not? So at the end of the day, the players sprint to this little report. Guys, and it's easy to do this. I mean, you do it on Excel. You get a buddy of yours that's good on Excel. You put your own little values in there. You tell them, listen, if it's under 10%, it's green. If it's over 10, it's orange. If it's over 20, it's red. You'll find a buddy somewhere who can do you an Excel spreadsheet on your terms, and it's easy. And you can make it smaller. You can say at the breakdown, we're only looking at count and the decision-making or technique. You don't have to put all of these fine detail in. You only put the stuff in you want to measure. But please don't just give the guy a bloody stat. He's not going to rate you as the coach. We do this the same on the ball carrier. So if you talk about that same guy in that test match, he had 6 carries. 5 of them he dominated contact, so 83%. So he's actually not a bad ball carrier. 83% of the time he dominated contact. Twice he recoiled well, so he's actually bad. So he dominates contact, but then when he goes to ground, he goes in that fetus position. He just puts the ball here, and then he expects the cleaner to get the ball back to him. He must use his upper body, recoil the ball on a platter, let the guys blast pass, and the scrum off must just do that. So it doesn't help you dominate contact, and now you think the fight's over. The fight's only over when you've recoiled the ball. I'll show you, there's a few drills there. I'll get back to that. You'll see here, guys, we even have a warm-up drill. I can see a few guys are tired. We even have a warm-up drill. They must do a length of the field. This is pre-season. They must do a length of the field of this. And that's also for you on that DVD where this is for, sorry.
Sorry, Ross, Daisy Craig, we got this guy from MMA. Rassie got him in from it. I think he's currently working with Italy, is it not?
Yeah, he actually, they actually the first time in history when he helped Italy, they beat France, I think, ne? Yeah. So there's a lot of fundamental drills which, if you want to tell a guy to recoil, but he can't even, with his stomach muscles for the strength and conditioning guys, if he can't get the guys to do that whole length, where is he going to be in the 70th minute dominating contact with Richie McCaw stealing the ball, trying to recoil the ball out there? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff which is just fundamentals. This is the beginning of the season. You must see these guys in the end of the season. I mean, you just have to be able to, I mean, you can see that it's actually the action of the ball recoiling. I mean, it looks funny. Then, I'll show you, sorry. Then obviously there's a lot of guys, and I know you guys probably do this, a lot of things like this. The guys must become comfortable, the ball carrier. You know, must have, if you can do it with a medicine ball, recoil, get the ball out there, you know, if you can do it with one hand, with two hands, and he's comfortable. You'll also see the guys who has more ball sense, the sevens players. They actually always know where the ball is. They can place the ball. And the moment you do it with a bigger, heavier ball, I mean, that's bad recoiling. I mean, this was Springbok stuff here. So, again, on that DVD, there's a lot of things that has to be done in pre-season, not during the season, for the guys to get really comfortable, for instance, with balls and stuff. But that's all on that thing there. Then, guys, there's a lot of different drills. For instance, this one, what is hekkies in English? Hurdles. We use hurdles sometimes. We sometimes use a little rope there. We have combinations there where the one guy must do that, but they must always go under the thing, and they don't get it right. So there's so many different drills in there for the breakdown. But I think if you put your personal flavor onto that and say, okay, but I'm the guy who wants us to always hurt guys at the breakdown. We don't want to duck and protect the ball. That's where we enforce ourselves. You'll find a drill there out of all that DVD that might suit you. Okay, Stefan, iets op baie wat jy dink nog 'n bietjie oor praat?
No, I just think conditioners, if you pick up that stat, listen to the conditioning coaches, if Russell actually says, this guy, 16 run cleans, but 4 of that, he didn't have to be at 4 of those, what would go through your minds immediately?
I think he's making poor decisions.
Especially when he's tired, eh?
So we need to work on that man a little bit.
That's what you need to replicate that in a match. That he gets fatigued and he has to make decisions while he's fatigued.
Yeah. And especially, if I can say from a coach's side, because I know we're all fighting for our time. You get the conditioner fighting for his time, and the defense coach and the kicking coach. So we're all fighting for time, and we only have 400 minutes or how many minutes, whatever, in a week to coach. So I think that's where it's so important for the conditioner. And say, for instance, the head coach or the department coach. I know in your cases, sometimes there's just a head coach and a conditioner. There's not a department coach. But to say, listen, if this guy's dominating all the contact, wouldn't it be better to maybe cut a gym session and let's work on his fundamental skills, decision making and recoiling. If he's not recoiling, maybe now he's overpowering the guys, but just after the thing, so maybe cut on the gym session and get that fundamental of that specific guy right. That's something we have to do. Guys, and the same we do on, I know we talk about breakdown, but the same we do on defense. Again, you make 14 tackles, attempt 14, make 12, miss 2. 86% is not bad. Your attitude, only 75%. We had flip an attitude there. Then tanker count, we say after you made the tackle, what's your decision making? Should you get up, contest for the ball? Did you just lie there, or did you get up back into the defensive line? So we give him a percentage after he made his tackle, and then if you're the second guy in it, say Steph tackles a guy, we call it baller. Say Steph tackles a guy, and I go and stick my head in there. You did it 3 times. Was it the right decision? No, 3 times it was the wrong decision. So we measure. I'm the tackler. I missed tackles. How was my attitude? How was my tackle technique? After the tackle, did I get up, or did I lie there? Did I contest for the ball? And if he makes a tackle, did I help there? Should I have helped there? So you don't give the guy 16 tackles. And I think even if you don't have an analysis system, guys, I used to do it. You get a video machine and another video machine, or DVD now. DVD and another DVD. And you put it in there and you cut the game. Scrums, lineouts, that. And you take a pencil, potlet, a pencil or a pen, and you write name, Njera, and you go and take out his tackles, 14 tackles. And you go and look at every single tackle and you say, great attitude, didn't get up, missed tackle. And you give him a sheet, not on making 16 tackles. That's when he starts respecting you, because, yes guys, that's when you start coaching. That's when you watch the same game about 7 times, and you see that if that guy runs in the training session, you somehow immediately picture that thing. He's got a poor technique, or he doesn't have attitude. That's the moment you start. Giving stats, we're getting caught up in that whole thing of coaching on stats, and I'm totally anti that, Steph, and I think that's my main message.
Yeah, and I think we had a very interesting evening last night, and I'll get to the group. But Rassie, could you perhaps tell them who's your defense coach and what was his background?
Yeah, guys, you see, I think everywhere where it becomes a mechanical part of the game, obviously not scrums, but mauling, defense. Not kicking itself, but the kicking patterns, where you run, where, and all of those things. I think if you've got a dedicated guy, our defense coach was with me in the army 20 years ago. We were together, we were troops in the army, and he didn't play for his school first team. He actually was a runner. He was a 1,000 meter and a 1,500 and a 3,000 meter SA school champs. He was a runner, and we were in the army together. So and then he studied physiotherapy, and we went to study together. And then I started playing rugby, and he became our physio of the team. Thin little guy, really, no ball sense. You pass him a ball, he goes like that. He's not a jock, if I can put it that way. And then he was this physio, but he used to stand there in the physio class, physio room, and then he would start chatting to us, because he was competitive. If we lose a game, he would be more on our case. He would sometimes lie to the players and say, you're pretty close to being dropped, But I mean, he someone makes it up himself. Didn't even chat to the coach because he's so competitive there. And he would physio the guys, and I saw this guy really were interested in the game. And for 6-7 years, he was the physio. Then when I became the Cheetahs coach after I was playing, he became my physio. And then I saw, shit, but this guy, and then he went on conditioning courses. He's a qualified physio, but then he went on conditioning courses. And then he became the Cheetahs conditioning coach from a physio, and we won 2 Currie Cup titles with him. Then I moved to Cape Town, and from a conditioner I saw, shit, but this guy is interested in the game. And my first year he was the conditioner. The second year we gave him a little bit of defense and conditioning. And now currently for 3 years in a row, we were the best defending team in Super 15. And last year we conceded 19 tries in the whole tournament, and this year again I think something like 19 of 20. And he's currently the box defensive coach going to the World Cup now, and he's a qualified physio. Didn't play a game of rugby in his life. Sit hours, take the stat out, one-on-one. Let's talk again about it. It's actually funny when he tries to show a guy how to tackle, because he can't. But he can get the systems right, and he can get the techniques right, and he can coach it well. I think like many golfers, the best golfers are coaches are sometimes the 13 or 14 handicaps coaching the pro guys there, because they're willing to put in the effort and the time, and they've got the personality to do that. There's a few guys like that who's actually in the mechanical part of the game. You don't have to be a natural talented guy, but if you're willing to work hard, Steph, you'll get it done. A last thing, maybe just to, guys, as I said in this specific thing, obviously when you get to, I'll get it now, the combination, old duck cleaning.
And I think whilst Rassie's looking for that, I think it's incredibly important if you in a smaller country or in a smaller province or a young guy making your way up, if you can double up physiotherapist or conditioning coach, defense coach, conditioning coach, skills coach, head coach, scrum coach.
Yes.
I think, or head coach, scrum coach, technical and
Yeah.
technical guy. Then you really going to evolve and go places in the game. I think that's
Steph, the biggest problem, guys, and I know there's 100% a place for a strength and conditioning guy, and we can't go without him. But I think the moment that guy gets, he doesn't have to become a master in that department, but the moment he gets linked to a department and he doesn't know a bit, he must know a bit of everything, but the moment he gets a master at the breakdown or a master at the defense or a master at the attacking breakdown, it's almost like when you plan your week. You know, sometimes the coaches are so full of things they have to do. That guy actually warms up the guy with something, he understands it totally. You can actually leave him and say, you do your conditioning, but I want a lot of breakdown in there. And he knows the breakdown. And then if he masters breakdown, he goes to defense. And at the end of the day, you become actually a head coach by doing that. Not taking you away from your thing, but I hate the guys who just do strength and conditioning almost from an athlete point of view. Not from they must understand the game really well to do that. That's my guys, and then you'll see on that DVD, there's a lot of, I mean, it was very plastic now when we said first scenario, second scenario, third scenario, and then there's little games there. I mean, this is one of the drills. You'll see a few there. And this is, for instance, you would say, okay, but we'll simulate. It will take a while now. I was struggling to find the whistle there. So you start getting them to. To make decisions. So that guy in the middle is going to make the tackle, and the guy who's got the ball when the whistle goes, he must get tackled by that guy. I'll show you now. So they never know who's going to take the ball in, and they never know who's going to clean. So the moment there's you'll see now. Okay, so that guy's now the ball carrier, and suddenly these two guys, this one on that side and that one on that side, must run around that beacon there and that beacon there, and this guy must be the threat now. And now those two must see when this guy's tackle, should I just duck? Should I clean pass? Should I pick up the ball? So you do that static scenarios over and over. And then you take it to the next level, next to the next level. So this is like, say, the second level where they now start making decisions where, okay, we run around the cone. Is the threat, there's the threat already? Should we just duck or should we clean pass? And so you play little games where it's not full contact. They're not smashing one another. And hopefully, you understand what I'm saying, and hopefully out of those drills, you can maybe find one or two that helps you. Is there any questions or advice or things we can share here? Or are you pretty tired?
No, I think they're big questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but would there be? I think you should use, and you can throw any topic at Rassie.
Yeah, anything else, guys, as well?
Going from what you said about statistics.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're debating is like the statistic doesn't give us the feeling and the effective, like you say about
Yes.
the game.
Yeah.
Even the other day we were seeing the analysis of a game that Steph proposed,
Yes.
and then we see the missed tackles was the same, the tackle count was the same, but when we watched the game, that wasn't our feeling that we saw. We saw that one team was dominant
Yeah.
and the other was not. But on the stat sheet,
Yeah.
we didn't have that feedback.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. That's why my feeling is, you must remember, the moment you get a company that does the stats for you, that's why I actually love to code it myself. Because you get and I'm not going to, how can I put it in a nice way? You put a guy behind a computer, and he's got his framework, how he sees stuff. And he's normally not a rugby coach or a rugby guy. He's a technical tiffy, going and sitting in a room there, and he's got a framework and how he stats a positive or negative tackle. So he goes, so that's why I'm saying they must just give me the things. We'll analyze it. I'll analyze it. The moment you take it, and that's where you're 100% right. Sometimes we get stats from all the different companies, and you look at those stats and you think, shit, we tackled well. But you know in your heart we didn't tackle well. And that's how we came up with that little system there, where we actually analyzed every single thing. And I think with you guys, do you guys get stats, or do you do it yourself? Yeah, I think you must, I think it cuts time by getting the stats. You know, because you don't have to go and take out every tackle. But they mustn't actually say, was it positive or negative? Or was it a good carry or a bad carry? Or did you make so many meters? They must just give it to you where it's cut. And you go and you sit. We make a playlist. For instance, I'll show you this. I hope I can find it. We make a, hopefully I'll find it, guys.
Do you make a lot of use of filming with your functional assessments and so forth, like you showed yesterday in your presentation? Would that be a massive coaching tool?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a huge cost. You can get your iPhone.
Did you see Mike walking around with his iPad?
I'm just
And
watching.
he's very flashy in Canada rugby. He's got money. He walks around with his iPod.
Huh?
So he coaches scrums. All right. Whilst he's coaching, he's got his clips on,
Yeah.
and then he films them and says, "Come here, have a look."
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, man. Yeah, that's when they start getting respect for you, when you do the extra mile and not just give him the stat and start filming the things. Like this is one of the guys, Alistair Hargraves, I think, who played against, when we played the Australia last week. I think he's playing now. And he made 7 tackles in the game. But the coach then goes and says, okay, the first tackle, and he puts a little note in there. Attitude was okay, no tank opportunity. Attitude was okay, no tank opportunity. Let me just open it up. Wait. Yeah, no, he says, look at that one. Attitude, no tank opportunity. And then he writes in there, could you get up? He's asking the guy. So now the player must go to this clip and he must answer this. So their homework is the following. Look at this clip. The coach asks, attitude, you get attitude. You had no opportunity to steal the ball, but could you get up? So now you must go and look at that tackle, if I can find it. Come on. So there's Hargraves number 5 there. He's number 5. He's going to make the tackle. There's his tackle. So he's happy with the attitude. But now the coach asking. He's just lying there. Get up. So that's why the coach asked, could you get up? Now he wants him to do this. One of the two. He either says agree or don't talk shit. One of the two. You know, so he must give you feedback on that. So he knows I looked at every single tackle. Exactly what you're saying. Not I made 6 tackles. And that's the biggest pitfall or hole we can fall into. Other departments of the game, guys? Are you guys tired? Are you rugby full? Yes, Wood.
When we went on, I think Wednesday, we had a talk, Tuesday, we had a talk with governance and finance, and the way the game of rugby has developed, it's now a product, it's a brand that has to be sold.
Yes.
And we have to fill stadiums in order to
Yeah.
get money for all this. Chester Williams came to Uganda in 2005, 2006,
Huh?
and he came with your passion of the game plan and his boards.
Yes.
And in that way, he changed the game to become more mechanical. You have to go from here to here to here. So in that way, you kill. There's a saying. There's a school of thought that you make it too mechanical that you kill the creativity
But
of certain players of the game.
Out of that.
Yet it's supposed to be a product that you have to bring.
Sell to the people and
Stormers were originally running players from everywhere. Now they're almost tending to play like the Bulls, taking it in, bashing left and right. Doesn't that kill a lot of the game, or how then do you balance it with maintaining the creativity and the flair of the game?
No, there's a big challenge in that. Listen, there's 2 ways of thought. The first one is you play the Cheetah way. You win 5 games and everybody loves you, but you get 6,000 people in the stadium because you're not winning. And at the end of the day, you have to win. I've very seldom seen teams who plays a hell of a flashy game but don't win, who gets proper crowds. Unfortunately, that's the way. You know, if you look, I'm going to take the Cheetahs as an example. They're a team who plays the best brand in South Africa currently. They played 16 games this year. They won 6. They play a lovely brand. They never get more than 10,000 people in the stadium because they're not winning. People go and watch winning teams. People don't go and watch teams that play flashy rugby. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a myth that we go to watch the Bulls. They get the big stadiums when they're winning. They play the most boring rugby in the world, but because they're winning, they get sellout crowds. Province that has the best crowds for the last 15 years, constantly, over 35,000 people. So I think, but you're 100% right, getting that balance right about not being too mechanical, but still winning. If you understand what I'm saying, that's the thing everybody strives to. Because you also don't want to be boring. I've been at that school where I've put on red boards and yellow boards, and I've went through that, and that's been successful. We won 2 curry cups by that. But you have to see what personality you have. We had, for instance, at the Cheetahs way back then, we had all the small unions' best players we bought, or we had all the big unions' second best players. So you never had leaders there. You had guys who's not leaders in themselves. So they were almost like soldiers. They would follow every single thing you say, but they didn't want to make the decision themselves. So as a team, they decided, guys, this is the way we're going to play on Saturday, and we're going to be with the coach. He must put us on the colors there. But you get to the Stormers where you've got 6, 7 leaders. You don't want to tell them what to do. And I think that's where it's the coach's discretion to say, this team must be very mechanical, or this team, let's just throw it around. That's your decision. But surely you don't want to play mechanical and lose. Then you're dead. You won't get people in there. Definitely. I must say, Alistair Couture, who's currently the Stormers coach, is really trying to evolve the attack. He wants the guys to play the defensive coach is awesome, and the team is now home semi-final, home semi-final, home semi-final, home semi-final, Super 15 final, Currie Cup final, again in a home semi-final. So I think he's getting there, and I think the team's getting there. And he actually also does a lot of work now off the ball, where he tells the guys, you're now in the breakdown, you go and play. But what does the other guys do who's not on the ball? He does a lot of off-the-ball coaching, and he's saying, okay, guys, we must get this attack going. So he's realizing that we're not attacking as we should attack. So, good point.
How much full games do you play in your sessions? Not
Contact.
Not full contact, but how many times would you go out with large numbers against each other?
Yes, we try to have, of our 4 sessions a week, we try to have, the moment we run when we don't have a split session where it's forward scrumming or doing mauling and backs doing stardom moves or doing counter-attack, we have 2 of those split sessions a week. But whenever we run plays, we run it against opposition, and we vary it. Sometimes it's with a bumping back, and when the guy gives you a solid hit, you must go to ground. Sometimes it's without a bumping back, it's just a shoulder check. Sometimes it is guys with bumping backs, but one fetcher at the back who can go full on at the breakdown. And it's a lot on our feeling, on the time of the season, how's the injuries going, the conditioning coach telling us, listen, the guys are really buggered now. So in the beginning of the season, here till around 3-4, it's pretty much twice a week full on. But as the season goes on, it becomes bumping backs and tackle backs, and most of the times a gut feel. But I must say, after around 7-8, almost never full on tackling, hurting one another.
And is your technical stuff largely based at the start of the session?
Sorry?
Is the technical stuff, the drills you have there, is that largely based at the start of the session?
Yes. We even swapped around the conditioning, where we said, listen, we do the rugby stuff, we have breakfast, we have our video sessions, and we have the on-field stuff, and we gym in the afternoon, just to get the focus on the rugby first, and then afterwards the conditioning. Definitely, there's a school of thought that, but after gym and after fitness, they should be sharp enough to train, but we just found that they're actually a bit buggered when they get to the rugby stuff eventually, so we swap it around.
Do you ever code this is all, I think this is great, but do you ever, what if New Zealand were just a little bit better than every part of that? Do you ever look at, do you ever code them in the same way you code yourself?
Not with the detail, and see, look, our systems do allow for things like this. I'll show you one. Unfortunately, if we get all green and they beat us, then we've been in trouble this year with the World Cup. But there's a nice little, but again, as that gentleman said there, this is unfortunately a thing that the coders does on their coding. So this thing gives you, they had so many involvements, they had so many line breaks, they had so many, but we don't go into specific of those. You can actually go and say, listen, let's compare Digby Ione and Mvovu. So it does do that, and it gives you a fair thing and say, okay, Digby has 46 involvements, and you can actually go and look at those involvements. But this is what he says, this is on their coding. We don't have the time to do that individuals, we just don't have the manpower, and the week is only so long. So it's tough, we're not sure. This is the best comparison we can get in that game. We can't go into depth into them. What we do before a season, for instance, I did this for the box. I'll show you now. Hopefully I can find it. I went to the box and I took all their 2010 Springboks. Their 2010, they played 15 test matches. So I took all their scrums in 2010 and I divided them from left, middle and right, left kicking, right kicking and so on. So what's crazy, look at this. So I hope you can read it. So in last year, they had left-hand attacking scrums. They had 13. So I went through, was it a power? Did they win the scrum? How did the starter move go? Did they get momentum? Did they get to second phase? So I went through all 190 scrums they had. So from left-hand scrums, they had 8% success rate, the Springboks, at national level, otherwise having a positive result after the scrum. Only out of 13 scrums, once they really, this is the result here, red is bad result, orange is okay, green is sharp result. Only once out of 13 left-hand scrums in the whole season last year, they really had a better position after that scrum than before that scrum. And I went through every single one. I went through left attacking, look at left kicking, 29%, middle attacking, 38%, middle kicking, 14%, right kicking, 40%. So we go into depth about us, and I think this is what happened maybe the previous 4 years with the Boks, because they've been together and won World Cups, they thought everything is in place. So this is the kind of stuff we really worked on hard in this last 2 weeks at Rustenburg, making sure that everybody, and you can now go and say, but the scrum isn't actually a problem. Only 2 scrums were scrappy, so I don't actually scrum bad. The starter moves, all the starter moves, we're actually doing well on our starter moves. But shit, we don't really get momentum. Here we start losing it. We don't get momentum in our starter moves. Then our second phase isn't a problem. So you want to analyze not just the scrum play. What of the scrum play is the problem, if you understand what I'm saying. And after that, do we get... So, yeah, we're going to depth there. Same with lineouts, same with the breakdown. But I think you're tired of me now. Anything else?
Craig. Rassie, Craig, do you know Craig?
No.
I'll tell you a bit about him a little later. But Craig used to work with Warren Gatlin.
I visited your training facility about 4 years ago and I met Greg and I was only there briefly. I didn't
Okay.
know you. And Greg was kind of telling me that the amount of running that you did. And I think he told me a stat that during 1 week in pre-season you were doing something like 27k, which I didn't say anything at the time, but I was appalled. Speaking to Stefan recently, you've obviously changed
Yeah.
approach and you obviously do a lot of strength and power training now more than you used to do. And there's an obvious integrated approach with the rugby. Would you say that's a huge factor in your progress over the last 4 years?
Without a doubt, and that's where I got it wrong. Remember when I came over from the Cheetahs, remember we talked about Jacques Ninover now, the defense coach, who was actually a physio?
Well, him and Greg were sat down talking to me.
Yeah, and they were the conditioners, and the way we played at Cheetahs was we just spin the ball and run people off their feet. We never won a cup there in Super 15 because you're playing against Ma Nonu and Jono Lomo and those kind of guys. So now you're this light little boys who play this attractive game, but you can't play it because Sonny Bill Williams is 120 kilogram and he's also agile. So being fitter than them, running fitter than them, is not going to win you Super 15. So when I got here, I thought, shit, we're going to do this with Province. And as you say now, they could run, boy, like Forrest Gump, even more. But now that's changed with the way Steph is looking at the thing. And definitely, we're still getting overpowered when our first and second, when Andries Becker goes down. We lose 120 kilogram and the next guy isn't at that thing, but that's been a massive mind shift we made about 2 years ago. You're 100% right. That's part of...
In order for you to continue that progress, what's the reason you don't have another step? Is that funding issue or is it...
Yeah, unfortunately, can you believe it? We actually, it's actually a funny thing to, I think you've got the same problems, to the administrators to explain to them that, listen, let's buy a player less and get a conditioning guy and make sure that everybody is there. But it's sometimes just, listen, you have one conditioner, that's a need, and I've actually put it in my budget for next year that we have 2 guys. Yeah.
Tell Rassie, how many guys did you have at Wasps when you had the 3 premierships in a row with Gatty?
We had 4 plus 3 interns. 7 Leicester.
7.
Yeah, and listen, when I speak to Skulk Brits and the guys who's going to play in the UK, and they're just saying there's one thing that we're getting totally wrong here. And that's why Steph is going to visit the teams now in the off-season, especially because our season was only a Super 10 in the beginning, then Super 12, then Super 14. And the Currie Cup is not a physical game. That's why the Cheetahs does well. There's weakness in Currie Cup teams. When you play the Pumas or the Cheetahs or the Leopards or the Bulls currently, it's almost like there's a few guys who's fat and slow, and so you don't get overpowered in the Currie Cup because but Super 15 you get overpowered. And the season is very short. But now with Super 15 going into Super 15, which is now 20 weeks, and next year there's going to be a break, incoming tours, and then like the Heineken Cup, it goes over 6-7 months. So if we don't piggyback from your guys' expertise now, the way they do it over there, and then we're definitely going to fall behind. And that's going to be a big challenge for us because we've played tournaments 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks and we finished. Now it's months before we get it right.
Rassie, what's the difference? What have you noticed the difference between, let's say, Heineken Cup Super 14 and international rugby?
I spoke to Johan Miller, who's Ulster, I think. Is he at Ulster? Johan Miller? I was with him now in Rustenburg, and I said to him, what's the difference? He said, listen, those guys are powerful, and they put such a big emphasis on set phases, scrums, mauling, line-outs. He said, but it's intense, but it's not fast. He says, so the moment if you can power up there, that's why guys like Jacques Renier is making it. That's why Sarelli is a hit at Exeter, because it's really powerful and it's heavy intensity, but it's not fast. They're saying the intensity is more in your face, direct, but it's not you have to sprint 30 meter and tackle a 120 kilogram guy. So he says that's the biggest thing. It's slow, but it's hell of a powerful. And I think you'll see it when we, for instance, play Wales and we play England. When we've got our top guys on the field who's also physical, but can handle the wide, fast stuff. Then we're actually matching them. But I think a top Super 15 team might struggle at the breakdown against a top Heineken team and at the scrums and at the line-out. But the moment it becomes a little bit wider, I think the Super 15 teams might have a little bit of an edge there. And a guy like Skulk Britt said to me straight, he's with Saracens now. I said, just the way they condition. But they condition for a longer period, you know, and the guys must be strong. We condition for a shorter period. They just say, unfortunately, the guys are class better than us at conditioning currently in Europe.
And medical, right?
Medical also, yeah, medical also.
It's interesting. Can you see it was interesting to see Rassie's starting point. I didn't brief him. I didn't see him, but his starting point was the law this morning. It's a pity the refs aren't here to see how important that is, and you know. So we've got to really, if you want to become a world-class coach, your working relationship with the referees have got to be world-class. You've got to know the laws better than what they do in the detail of it. And I think if you want to become a world-class coach, your relationship with your conditioning guy, because that's basically the guy that you have to trust most. It really is, because he's the guy that says you're burning these guys, or they're ready to perform, or no, stop flogging them. And if you can come and become his ally, also from a coaching point of view, take over some of the responsibilities. I thought Alun, Paul True's guy, did you see how Paul doesn't have to run any of his drills anymore. Coaches, you remember, Paul was standing and he was just shouting, Alun do this, that. So Alun does all of that, and Paul then worries about the analysis and he brings that back. So kind of the more we get this done, the better we're going to become in the end.
Yes, Stephen, there's no reason why you can't. I mean, we all know we can't keep guys on the field for 6 hours a day. But there's no reason if the boys come in at 7 in the morning and leave at 4, why they can't do a coaching course or a referee course or a technical analysis, you know, upskilling or something. We're starting to do that with the technical side, make sure the guy understands the whole system, being able to code himself a little bit. And I think the guy must be able to at least referee a schools game as a referee. I mean, you can teach a guy that in a month he can become a proper ref at that level, know the laws.
In terms of law knowledge, we have a site, irblaws.com, there's a test on there. They can take
Have you seen
multiple
that?
visits. It's in 8 languages. So there's a couple of unions around the world. They're
Experience,
making
you
it
just love it.
compulsory as
Yeah.
part of player registration.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
lads have to go on and do it.
It's not in South Africa, but it's on the website, obviously, but it's not compulsory with us, which is crazy. We're going to do it from next year with Storm.
Rassie, to start now, can we let them do the law exam?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
We let them do a law exam, but I feel they can they should be able to referee a club game if they understand being in the referee's head at least, how difficult is a breakdown. Show the guy clear daylight because it's difficult to see, those kind of things.
Can I ask you a philosophical question?
Yo.
You talked about all the drills you did, the individual type work, which is very interesting, and then you said second phase is decision-making practices.
Yeah.
You ever tried it the other way around?
No, I haven't. I've always make sure the guy knows how to do it, and when he's got all the skills to do the different things, for him to make the decision, but he doesn't know the technique, so he might make the right decision, but he doesn't have the technique. So I haven't tried the other way around. What do you think that?
No,
Yeah.
just a thought.
Yeah.
Put them in a decision-making type game first,
Yeah.
see what they're good at and bad at,
Yeah.
and then fill the gaps.
Can be done. We'll try it. No, we'll definitely try it. Especially with the guys here at the institute. That's maybe that's our guinea pigs. We try it with them. Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's also funny, it's I think you guys experience it. It's so tough after 23, 22 to change a guy's habits. I mean, it's just you get the guy there and he would change it for 6, 7 games. And then when you start focusing on lineouts or counter-attack again, if you don't recap that all the time and you can't do everything every week. So if you don't do that at that age from 14 till 22, yes, I seldom find that I can get a team vibe the same. Everybody's on the same vibe. Our whole philosophy at Breakdown is the same, but you struggle to change the individual. It's something we struggle with.
Are you going to win the World Cup?
I think we have a big chance.
Who are the teams?
You see, for me, the thing is, Steph, there's so much riding, for instance, on. We know England and Australia is all in the World Cup competitive. Since it's been there, Australia and England, they might not do well here between the World Cups, but come World Cup semi-final, finals, England and Australia is always in the mix. Obviously, the All Blacks will be there. The pressure is so big on them now, and the vibe you're getting there, they're so nervous. And let's say Carter knee. Let's say we now go and we see the score there. Hopefully, it's not over 50. And
13-7
is it?
So we're ready
For us.
for a chance.
Yeah, no. Fantastic, man. So say Carter, knee ligaments, go now. Then New Zealand's in big trouble. The next fly-off's Colin Slade, who hasn't played how many test matches, and they didn't pick Donald. So for us, if we lose Victor Matfield now, with Andries Bakker who's out, then we've got troubles in the World Cup. Johan Smith, our flanker, is buggered, and Hendrik Brousseau. So suddenly we had Dwayne Vermeulen, Hendrik Brousseau, Johan Smith, all of those guys buggered at loose forward. So another loose forward injury now. If we lose a Skalk Burger whose hands already in the cast now, then we're in trouble. And I think the same with New Zealand, losing at 10. They find it props. I think if they lose Corey Finn, I think Miolamo might not be their first choice. So there's so much riding on 1 or 2 injuries that's difficult to predict. But I think the same teams that's always in the mix will be in the mix.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rassie.
Thanks, Ralph. Thank you.
What Russ has done is he's given me a DVD. I'm going to ask Louis here to copy that for all of you. Martinez, do you have that? Excuse me. Sorry. There's all those who cannot swim. Martinez, do you have the flash drives? It is at the office. I suggest what we've got to do is we've got to get that here because we've got to put just get Louis to start guiding that, and after lunch we will add everything back to you. If that will be possible. Did you bring the DVDs from Marius? Where are they? Okay, Okay, guys, we've got coffee break. It's our place for the day.
Huh?
Rassie, bye.
Yeah, precies.